Tate or Terry. It's up to you.
I see. Okay. Here, let me see if I can get the timer up. I'll use the
Edwin, I
Zoom.
just mentioned I'm out walking, so I'm not
Oh,
going to facilitate today.
okay.
I'm going to use the
Thank
Zoom
you, though.
timer. So, Brian, do you have experience with empathy circles? And Jill, are you new to this practice?
No, they don't have ECF, so just go ahead and do it, Jenna.
Yeah, no, I wasn't asking if you want to facilitate, but do you need any more
Oh,
explanation or have any questions, or can we just
No,
go ahead
no
and start?
questions.
No questions. Okay. So we'll do one, two, three, four, five of us, 4 minute turns, okay? I don't remember what. So I'll be the first listener, and who would like to be the first speaker? Volunteer to be the first speaker?
I can
Oh,
go.
you'd like to be the first speaker? Okay, and you can talk about whatever's in your heart and mind, or anything you heard, or anything you shared, whatever you like. Yeah, go ahead.
I like being around so many people interested in empathy. I did a really intense, kind of spontaneous because it was needed, conflict resolution session last night with people who were in my house, my son and his friend, and it was the different. I won't go into all the different pieces of it, but it reminded me of Bell Hooks talking about like the practice of love and community. And so for like a couple of like days there were people in our house, my son and his really good friend and a super dear friend of mine from 30 plus years ago, and who said he felt comfortable in our house, which is huge because I heard him say out loud he's never felt comfortable anywhere. And I see how he gets targeted as an outspoken, confident black man. So that really touched my heart.
So I'm going to ask you to pause so I can reflect a little bit, and then
Can I just say one more thing? Because it kind of ties it all together. It might make
sure,
you
okay. And then if I miss something, that you just help me.
sure. I, what's going on is that now everybody is gone, and it's just me and my partner, and I just really miss being around people that I love on a daily basis.
So you're appreciating this summit, and you're appreciating being with people who are practicing empathy or working on themselves and listening to each other as best they can. And you shared that last night you did an impromptu conflict resolution between your son and his friend, and um, and that you've had a house full of people the last few days, if I understood. And I think it was your son's
Last
friend
couple,
the last couple of
yeah,
yeah.
just a few days, a couple days of people in the house, full. It's not a big house, so it's pretty full.
So you had a full house, and
Yeah.
it was your son's friend who said that he felt really comfortable in the house.
My friend, but yeah,
Your friend felt
yeah.
really comfortable in the house, and acknowledged and heard. And he was a black person, a black man who felt very welcome and and seen and heard. And I really appreciated your family. And now people are gone. It's you and your partner, and you're feeling like an empty nester, I guess, kind of missing.
I'm feeling sad, because it makes me realize how much I want community and people I love to be part of my daily life and not just a special occasion that requires airplanes and long trips to pick people up and massive arrangements.
So you're feeling sad. You're feeling this sadness that you're recognizing how much you really want people in your life, like on a regular basis, and not some occasional like event, where it involves travel and planning and yeah, and you'd like more community in your life. So you're recognizing that need and that wish.
Thank you. I feel heard.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for sharing. So I'm the first listener. I'm the listener, and now I become the next speaker. So I'm going to ask someone to be my speaker. So I'm supposed to choose a speaker, but I don't want to choose anyone who doesn't feel
Listener.
comfortable. Listener is what I meant. Thank you. So Lou, would you like to listen to me?
Sure, sure. I'm happy to listen to you, Janet. Go ahead.
Um, so it's just a real joy to be at this summit and to have both of you speakers here and more people who will discover here. And and it's just I love empathy circles.
You're inspired, and you're happy to be here. And
Yeah, yeah, thank you. And when you spoke, I actually had the thought, I don't know if you've ever been to Dharma teachings. If you've heard like Tibetan teachers speak.
Dharma. I heard the word Dharma.
Yeah,
Got it.
yeah, and one of the wonderful gifts of the teacher, it said that when one becomes a Buddha, the speech comes last. That when, has maybe ethical behavior and good motivation, but it's the actual speech that comes last. It's like the crowning jewel of the Buddha.
Okay. So work on a bunch of stuff. Integrity, like you say, all the practices, and then speaking comes up the back end. And so there.
And so one of the gifts of the teachers that when they speak is that everyone, it is said, has the experience of being spoken to directly, regardless of what level they are.
Mhm.
And so when you talked about rhetorical speech, I that was what I was reminded of.
So the speaker in effect creates a miracle that because everyone to who the speaker is addressing feels or believes or thinks it's one on one, that the speaker's talking right to him.
Yeah,
Whereas could be an enormous diversity there.
right. Regardless of their level, that it's suitable for all levels. That every talk is suitable for all levels, and everyone is seen. Everyone is acknowledged. Everyone, yeah,
Well, like you say, there's beginner, intermediate, advanced. That's somebody's idea of levels, because you get to be you practice, and then you arrive at a beginner's mind. And regardless of the level, the audience feels they're being addressed one on one.
yeah. So the example of rhetorical speech reminded me of that, and so thank you. I feel heard. Thank you.
All right. So, um, right. So I get to pick somebody to be my listener, right? I get to pick somebody to be my listener. Well, I've got so many excellent choices here. How about Brian? I'm going to go with you, Brian. You can be my listener. And
Oh, okay.
thank you. And here's what I have to say. I I can't figure out how to update my profile to put speaker or remove. There are some things I'm not comfortable having recorded. So I'm not going to, rather than try to fix that right now, I'm just not going to talk about those, because they're about my neighbors, and it's unlikely that they would tune in and hear it. But confidentiality is important, and don't tell. So I have to pick something. So I'm struggling with that. I've got plenty to talk about, and I don't want it to be recorded.
Edwin, do you want to pause the video? No, he doesn't want to pause the
All right.
video.
So keep
Okay.
that in mind
So,
next time. There's stuff I don't want to talk about because I'll be talking about people. Make an observation and not a judge. I'm going to pause here for a breath.
So, Brian, you can reflect on that.
Yeah, it's okay. Brian gets a response.
yeah, it's what I'm hearing is that perhaps you feel a bit of frustration in that you're not able to really express your heart as you're feeling right now. Yeah, Is that about right?
Well, thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to make enemies. I'm already
Sure.
fighting with these people, and I don't want to, I don't want to have a fight in public. Um,
Well, certainly, yeah, that is in
Yeah,
especially
it
in
will
this
affect
day.
every part of our human experience.
and we'll just include that. Thank
Yeah.
you. So here's what I'm going to talk about. I
Okay.
found something that, I like the prompt. What are your ideas and projects for building the empathy movement? Here's the most confronting thing I can think of. No money, no mission.
No money, no mission. Are we taking that from, say, business basics or?
Thank you. I mean, you're not allowed to ask questions, but that's a good question.
Okay.
I throw that, I make a mess of it. I mean, you see how I make a mess of this thing. And that's the whole point. Don't be too, this is an advanced group. Don't be too crazy about it. I heard that was the former president of DePaul University speaking on, not for profit or on not for profit organizations with many colleges and universities, right? So here's the empathy. I mean, empathy circles and listening is basic. This is 101. You don't get it. I mean, this is like you say, like meditation to Dharma training. That's empathy circles. And it doesn't make a lot of sense to try to charge money for it. I mean, because it'd be like charging money for having a conversation, which includes how do you charge money for taking turns? No, I mean, there's a thought, there's a complete thought.
Yes, that feels so right to me as
Yeah.
well.
And you got
So
it.
yes,
Yeah.
so I think what I hear is that you feel then a conflict with that sense and building a movement, given the Paul comment.
Well, thank you. I mean, here's what I would say, because I'm really scratching my head, right? I mean, I meant it when I said, really the problem in my life is my name is not Tony Scruggs. He's too bad he's not here to hear me, but I already said it. He brings an enthusiasm and a kind of humor, right, to it. And then he's got something important to say. When people are being confrontational, XYZ sucks, man. Okay, because I got a lot of that in the stuff I'm not talking about, right? That I decide I don't want to put on the internet. The XYZ sucks is coming, and so what I want to say is maybe I don't know what I want to say. I'm sorry. Can you help me? What am I trying to say?
Well, yeah, to me it feels as though you're looking for a way to take just human conversations, human interactive warmth,
Yeah.
and how do we construct a movement from that? You're addressing the question, which I think is wonderful, because frankly, it feels we've missed it all morning. So you are looking at what does it take to create a movement, and you're, I think, hinting at the idea that money is involved, enthusiasm, and so on, motivation.
Yeah.
Right? Money is the most common motivator in our society. I would go out on a limb and say, but that's what we're really looking at, money. I mean, motivation.
Okay. Well, I'm getting a time's up here. And here's the thought. Can I ask for a 1 minute extension?
Yes.
Okay.
Go
Here's the
ahead. It's
thought.
not a hard stop. You can.
Thank you. Here's the thought. If one has empathy circles are going to have to be given away, in effect. Before I would engage with a consultant, with a client in a consulting engagement, I would, in effect, give them a free sample. We would have a conversation. And if they found value in the conversation, at some point, there would be what is sometimes called an upsell. An upsell. You would say, well, if you want to, I got to keep the light. What I would say is here's what I would say. Here's the 1 minute extension. How much is it worth to you? I mean, like money, to continue this conversation in a structured way. And then they would say, 20 bucks, or they would say, what I would say, well, that's not enough. I need 100, I mean, and then they would do it or not, right? I mean, then they could say yes or no or negotiate. And so that's actually the proposal. If you've got something to offer, make the request. But it would probably not be empathy circle training because that's the foundation, right? I mean, it would be the advanced course. What does the advanced course look like now? Well, that would mean you have
Time.
to
You
talk.
got to keep to the time. We could.
Thank you. I made my point. Thank you.
So you want to briefly reflect, or I'll briefly reflect what you said, Lou? Brian, do you want to briefly reflect what you heard without any additions? Just
Yes, that we are here gathered for how to build an empathy movement. We've discussed the fine points of empathy and how to make a person feel heard. And I'm guessing on the last that yet we have not talked about how to build a movement to spread the listening, the care that is behind empathy.
Thank you.
to how to make it sustainable and how to offer it and to offer it for free, at least initially, at an advanced level. Yeah. All right. So, Brian, you're the next speaker, and you can choose your listeners. So choose someone who hasn't listened yet, and then we can choose from anyone. So Terry, if she's available, or Edwin,
Okay,
if he's
Terry,
available.
hi. I like the tree. So, yes,
And in chunks. Yeah.
in chunks. My chunk is very short. I only have one. I think I agree with Lou completely in that we have had a tremendous session. Thank you all to all you speakers. Hearing the depth of empathy and how to express it deeply so that people feel heard, so that they feel cared for and loved even, that is wonderful. And, it's so great to be among you thinkers who have identified the paths for doing that. But again, I agree with Lou, today's topic, how do we build a movement? Frankly,
May I
maybe
ask
I
you, Brian,
wasn't
to pause?
listening.
Brian, may I
Sure,
ask you to pause
pause.
so I can? Thank you. I think I'm hearing that today you've received a contribution about, being part of and growing the culture of empathy that has really filled your heart.
Yes, I feel my heart has really expanded and filled with the wonderful thoughts that everyone has expressed.
Mm,
However, my
mm,
my core feeling is frustration that I have not understood empathy and its power to the extent that I have now, thanks to all that I've heard. But I do know it's important. It's
mm.
extremely important. I think that is what our culture most needs to get through this very dark time. Yet I don't feel that I have heard a whole lot of words that speak to how we're going to do it. And so I greatly appreciate Lou bringing up that topic.
Yeah, okay. So I'm hearing like the depth of appreciation for what you've received and also a resonance with Lou bringing up the topic of like, how is this actually going to work? And also that you are carrying a frustrated charge around it. It's an intensity maybe that matches the need for this to spread.
Yes, yes, yes. I think that if there was one word to offer that is the most needed in our culture right now, it is empathy. And it is the most lacking. Not only is it lacking, people are arguing that even in Christian circles, saying it is a sin. This is mind-boggling to me. It's very frustrating. And as professionals in this space, why are we not talking about how to, storm the gates, how to make it happen? And Lou pointing out to money and so on. So, that's, I think, the topic du jour that should be how to build a movement. What does it take? It takes motivation. People who feel not heard are motivated to go join a circle. Is that how we
So,
start a movement? I don't know. I I think, we need the sociological concept of common knowledge. That is, when you go to a protest, you see thousands of others who feel the same
Brian,
way,
may I
are
ask you to
sane.
pause? I'm not going to be able to reflect
Mhm.
if you keep talking. Thank you so much.
Okay,
Well,
sorry.
I hear passion in your thinking about this, I think, and
Mhm.
that in terms of what's present in the culture, that the most important response, in your estimation, is actually empathy. However, it's it's being you're not hearing how to actually move forward with making that response as as equal to the other things that are going on that aren't empathy.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you,
Yes,
Brian.
the mechanics of a movement,
You wanna know the nitty gritty of the mechanics of how does this work?
of how to launch a movement. I've heard about the dynamics of how we would then empathize each with one another and the power and so on, but I've not heard one word on how to make it a movement.
You are wanting to hear specific words on how to make this a movement?
And that was the time. So, Terry?
Thank you, Edwin. Edwin, would you please be my listener? Are
Yep,
you available?
I'm listening.
Thank you. Excuse me, thank you. Well, I'm sitting here with my dog and she's in training, but she might bark. So,
You're kind of warning us that your dog might bark there.
yeah, I'm wanting to get her on camera here because she is so cute. Ella, Ella, watch me. See if you can see her. Can you see her?
Hmm. Yeah. You want to get
Ella,
the
watch
dog
me.
on the camera because it's so cute.
It's really cute. Um, I I really loved listening to, and I think it's Lou. I can't really see everybody's name, but I'm remembering. I love words and definitions, and rhetorical empathy is super fun to hear about.
Yeah, you're appreciating Lou talking about the rhetorical empathy, and because you love those words and definitions, things like that.
Yeah, and I love him too.
Yeah, you love it too.
Yeah, and I do have a rhetorical empathy practice, although I didn't know that's what it was called. But I love fooling around with how I use the words.
Mm. Yeah, so you're using those rhetorical empathy too. You kind of play around with it with those terms,
I I
words.
do. Yeah, and I'm not going to go into like all the things I've noticed because I want to talk about what's emerging in my own practice of building a culture of empathy.
And you're going to talk personally about what's happening in your practice of empathy.
Yes, I am a vagal toning instructor, and that's a somatic practice that helps people to light up the part of the nervous system that's involved in social engagement.
So you're a bagel tone practitioner. So yeah.
Yeah, and it makes the heart warm, the face mask. Um, there's some responsivity that comes back into the face, the voice, and this is also the empathy system.
Mhm. So the vagal system and the empathy system are the same, and it's a practice that you do that kind of warms up your body, your face, and like your
Yeah,
heart and area.
yeah, like, and it makes you like socially responsive both to yourself and to others. Brings that
Mm.
back online,
Mm.
where it
Yeah.
kind of like dials down the defenses.
Mm-hmm. So this practice sort of lowers the defensiveness and brings up the sort of the connecting, social connecting qualities.
Yeah, and I'm a level 3 facilitator, and in the last training I did, I was struck by the power of the mini empathy circle that's part of the training.
And you do a empathy circle, or you're struck by the sort of the power of the empathy, the mini empathy circle that's part of your training.
Yeah, of the training that the Empathy Center offers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Hmm.
so really appreciate the training.
Yeah, it's fewer people in the mini circle and a shorter time.
Mm. Yeah, so it's the qualities of the shorter time and less people in the circle.
And I love the regular circle too, but I realized that the mini circle is perfect for after vagal toning.
So this is something you can use with your vagal toning work, and so it sounds like some excitement about that, like an insight that you're celebrating
I am, and I've been doing it, and people are agog at the effects.
and having great effects. People are responding to that in your training. Sounds like.
Right,
Mm.
right. And just to like try to wrap up in the time. So, I can charge a lot of people for a vagal toning class. And that just takes one person, and people can teach all kinds of classes and teach a lot of people at once. But what I'm doing is I'm working towards expansion and adding other facilitators for the mini circle. So we keep it to four. So if there's, for theoretically 100 people in a class, 25 facilitators, four people in each breakout room. Um, that's my model going forward for this year.
Mhm. So you've got a model with your training that you're going to be taking however many people you have in your workshop and dividing into empathy circles, and you're kind of excited about the just the practice and the response and the outcome of it.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the sustainability anymore. I'll just leave it there. Thank you
Mm.
so much,
Yeah.
Edwin. Thank you, everyone.
So maybe responding to what others were saying, you weren't worried about the sustainability of it, financial sustainability. Okay, I'll speak to Jill, if I may. Um, yeah, I appreciate what Brian was saying about not hearing how do we build the movement, per se. So I think that's important, and um, I think one thing from my sense is that the empathy community hasn't been thinking in terms of movement building, like a bigger movement. It's been thinking more individually. So I think one step is just to get people thinking that, hey, this is a movement. We need to, think in terms of how do we raise the level of empathy in society. So that's just like the first step.
So are you wanting to like your flag where your attention is that this idea of creating a movement has a beginning and we are at the beginning? And I'm guessing you're maybe wanting some patience for that, a sense of shared reality of where we are in that process.
Yeah, maybe clarity, have a sense of
Clarity.
clarity, and that just that individualism. I mean, you think empathy, even, is it's taught like in therapy and so forth. It's an individualistic sort of there's a lot of individualism within the empathy movement, which, I want, individual needs is important. I think Marie and Roy was talking about that. But you also want to think in terms of the bigger picture. And I think that's what we need to, even getting people to think in those terms is a first step. And that's what these empathy circles are about, is getting people to even think in those terms.
So when you look around, you're seeing just how rampant is this individualism that we're all acculturated into and how that's kind of our default. And you really want to somehow seed our collective consciousness with this notion of a bigger picture of a we. And you're seeing empathy circles as a way to kind of commence that or to plant those seeds.
Yeah, it's more the empathy movement.
The
I
empathy
mean, people
movement.
haven't been talking about empathy movement. We're sort of the ones that are sort of waving that banner. The empathy movement. Let's start thinking in terms of empathy movement, people. And so we're kind of at that early stage and
Mhm.
trying to, don't just not about you as an individual. It's about working together and that we're working on the same direction and we have the same goal.
So you're really
So
wanting to try and have some companionship in making that perspective shift, that linguistic shift, so we can start to think together about this movement.
mhm. And then in terms of a strategy, maybe I'll talk about it next time. I think we need like an occupy empathy. So use the same techniques, of nonviolent direct action and occupy, where we have the empathy tent experience so that we go out and we actually occupy space like we did in Berkeley, like the Berkeley, the Civic Center Park, those occupy encampment. But it's an empathy movement. It's not like the 99 against the 1%. It's like everybody's invited,
Hmm.
and we create a counterculture. So that's
Mm.
one sort of major strategy that I'm thinking about.
So I'm hearing you nurturing this vision of something really exciting that everyone can be invited to, and kind of like a big tent of joining the sympathy movement. Is that close?
Yeah, and we set up, and the space is doing ongoing empathy circles, 24/7
Mm.
empathy circles, plus other practices. So Terry brings her vagal training. So it's sort of a counterculture, a
Mhm.
counter, um, you know, that it's creating, embodying that, but in an encampment like Occupy
Mm.
did, but not us
Mm.
versus
Mhm.
them like Occupy was.
Uh-huh. Sort of subverting, using the Gestalt, but subverting the intention into something more inclusive and more joyful, more kind, more enveloping.
Yeah, yeah, I feel heard. It's my
Okay.
time. So you can pick your listener, Joe.
I already went, remember?
We keep
And
going.
no, we keep going. We just keep
Oh
We
my
going
hit
round
the
and
gosh.
round. It's a circle.
45 minutes almost.
Oh gosh. Okay. Terry, you want to go again?
I'm listening, Jill.
Okay. Um, I'm feeling a little kid in me is kind of a little bit like, wait, what? I heard a couple of people saying, but nobody talked about how to do this, and I don't know if they weren't there for my presentation. That was what all of what I talked about was how to scale empathy digitally. Like, what am I, chopped liver? Or we're going to channel my ancestors. a little bit confused and sad and wanting to be seen for the actual proposal that I did make. Well, what I actually doing. It's not just a proposal, it's an app that I'm developing.
Hmm. Is there like just some confusion present and maybe like some bewilderment and a little bit of hurt and a need to be seen?
Yeah, like I also wanting to know if I maybe what I'm doing is being seen as this sort of other capitalist thing and not exactly what's being looked for.
And you're an
I
app
like I
developer.
don't know. I could understand if that were the case. And I also do want to be seen. I want to know how I can communicate. Yeah, maybe I want some information about how I could communicate better, so that what I'm what we're doing at Menfold lands as with the intended effect of scaling empathy.
And you're an app developer of Mental,
Mhm.
and your whole presentation was actually on how to scale empathy, but you're wondering now if just the way you're presenting it is seeming like it's actually rather outside the movement because it is a part of a system that includes finance. Is that what you said?
That includes what?
Like financial concern? Is that
Yeah, I don't like I'm confused about why and how it didn't land with anyone here as something that we're doing to scale empathy. So I guess I have a request too that later I don't want to detract from the form of what we're doing right now, but later maybe tell me why and how that didn't land for you that way, whether you didn't hear the presentation or it just seemed like something else.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're requesting feedback as
Yeah.
to why your presentation that included granular information on how to scale empathy wasn't received as somebody talking about how to do that.
Yeah. 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 Thank you. I think that's all I have to say. I don't see the timers, but I could do a little song and dance. Or we could just give the time.
You have another minute. It's on my window there.
you're not sure if you have more to say, but it occurs to you that you might just sing and dance.
I just smelled something downstairs. I'm guessing that my husband is baking a croissant, which I don't want to eat, for in terms of nutritional concerns, but it smells really good. What are you saying? What you're saying, Evan? Damn good.
The smell of croissant baking is just a very enticing smell, but not something you're going to actually act on in terms of ingesting.
Probably. Maybe I'll take that, like the little corner of it. That's it.
Maybe just the most choice bit.
Yeah.
You can just say, I feel heard, and then it's your end. Yeah.
I feel heard, and then it's my end.
Thank you, Jill.
Thank you, Terry.
Lou, actually, I'm wondering, is there, Janet, I know you're probably keeping track. I'd like to help co-hold the mutuality. Do you have a suggestion for me?
It's fine. Brian's gone once. I've gone once. Lou's gone once, I think,
Okay.
and
Lou, would
Edwin's
you
gone once, and so you have
Yeah, I
full
heard my
choice.
name. I mean, is there a request? I heard my name.
Yeah, I did. I thank you, Janet. Lou, I would like for you to please listen to me.
Okay, go ahead. Thank you. I'm listening.
Thank you. Well, it's just I just noticed it's such a joy and a pleasure to be in this room with everybody here today.
You're experiencing joy and pleasure and are happy to be here. And
I am, yeah. I'm really excited that Jill's here because I try not to look at Facebook much, but I found her on there the other day because I was looking at the speaker lineup and I friended her.
I mean, you friended Jill on Facebook. I mean, hey.
Yeah, and now here she is. Yeah, so that's a delight because I really am very literally not on Facebook much. In fact, I have an app to make it so I can't go on Facebook because it's just it's too much for my nervous system to be exposed to it on a regular basis.
You're a very light touch, if at all, on Facebook.
Yeah, and this brings me to like a theme that I've had today, which is just like allowing things to occur.
Being present with what's so, allowing things to occur.
Yeah, Ingrid, I've been in circles with Ingrid for the last year frequently, Ingrid Hertz. And one time she was on a kick of like, well, the empathy circle movement will grow because we're intending for it to grow.
I see. Ingrid's expressing optimism and confidence about empathy circles spontaneously growing.
Yeah, she was like, yeah, that's happening because we're doing it.
As you say, just as you say.
Yeah, and then I'm like, okay, well, the evidence for me today is that Jill's in my breakout room. And I was like so excited to learn about her app and to see the level of skillfulness that she's bringing to this. And just like, I mean, just a brief little look at what she's doing. I was like, wow, she is really putting some powerful tools to work. And I'm excited to connected
So
to her. And here she is.
being inclusive is working, even notwithstanding the limitations of Facebook. Here is Jill Nagel, and you also
Yeah.
acknowledge your contribution in the matter of the Mendful app.
Yeah, the Mendful app. And I'm also like, I'll tell you, the last 2 years, coming to be a vagal toning teacher online came with it a great deal of trepidation for me.
Hmm.
It's a risky venture. I had major health concerns. Yeah, I was not at all sure that the risks I was taking were going to provide the kind of security that I need.
So you were and are up to something in your life, bringing the vagal toning training online, and notwithstanding some health concerns, you're engaged. So to say, the engagement is joined.
Yeah, and what I've learned along the way is it's not just me building the empathy movement. It's in line with the force of life, and I can allow that to flow. in ways that my conditioning didn't teach me, but that those here and many others in this world are modeling in like a multitude of ways if I tune in and observe and resonate what's happening in terms of expansion of love, consciousness, and practice on this planet.
So what you're doing, whatever it is working, and you're going to continue to do that. Um,
Yeah, thanks. I feel just a real presence and ease and peacefulness in my body, and my legs
I
are
see.
here. My whole self is here. Thank you, Lou. Thanks for listening.
But so you feel present and you're relaxed, you're chill.
Yeah.
You got there's some chill happening here. We
Yep. Thank you.
So I get to pick somebody. Thank you for letting me listen to you, Terry. And I get to pick somebody to listen to me. And how about, I mean, eeny, meeny, miny, ever you can't miss here. I'll go with Edwin. How about you?
Okay, hi, listening.
Thank you. So I'm going to continue with what I had before. I still don't want to criticize on camera my neighbors with whom I'm mixing it up. So I'll talk. So that's a thought.
No, you don't want to criticize your neighbors here on camera.
So here's the challenge. I take it on. I I believe that the empathy movement has legs. I wouldn't be here if I didn't. And I don't think the challenge that at least one speaker laid down, I think it might have been Brian, is like, let's have more. We need more. I don't know if the word is need, but it'd be useful to have more structure. I want to hear more practical suggestions. And I heard that as kind of a request or maybe even a demand for more.
And you want to have more, so practical tools for building a movement?
Yeah. So here's what I'm going to continue the theme of no money, no mission. That empathy circles are basic, they're fundamental. You and it is a challenge that one cannot charge to have a conversation with another human being. This is like I have read, you're talking about, well, there's a lot of things I could say. And here's the thing. Maybe I should just have free speech and go with it. And part of the solution has actually been proposed by Jill and Menful and Terry and vagal training. The vagus nerve is a big nerve and it touches a lot of things. I mean, this is kind of, it's not pop neurology, although I know a little pop neurology, and so it's that one slide that you, Edwin, had where it has empathy circles get baked into a lot of activities in design, in therapy, in this case, vagal training, in the other case, applications for conflict resolution. So that's a complete thought, which I will summarize my own thought. A lot of empathy work gets rolled up into conflict resolution training. And that has got, because there's so much conflict, you know.
Yeah, so you're saying the empathy circle, you see how it's sort of part of a lot of other practices, but a lot of empathy work is about conflict resolution. We sure have a lot of that going on.
That's a great, so yes, exactly. I mean, so I've answered my own challenge to some extent, but the challenge remains. And my, if I had to give, I have a minute left. I had to give a 1 minute suggestion on how to make growing the empathy movement more sustainable I think is a good, it's like, what's the revenue model? It's like always a confronting question. And yet that guy that I'm trying to remember, I think it was Father Montana, former president of DePaul University, no money, no mission. And this was by way of saying, there's a lot of good works that need doing and people still need to keep the lights on and, and by, and buy high-end dog food for the high-end dog, not to mention feed my children. And I hope that he doesn't burn the croissants. I was a little concerned when you went off camera there that it might have set off the smoke alarm or something. But okay, so that's my joke. You don't need to summarize that. What I want to say is, which I already did say, is if you want to get paid for it, it equals whatever you're doing, uh, make a request. Give them a free sample and ask, how much is this service or product or combination thereof worth to you? The potential customer will then answer the question. They'll say, well, I can get it for free around the corner, so it's not worth it. Or, it's like I said, it's worth $20, and I'm looking for $100 price point, let's say. I don't know, 100 is the new 20. That's where I came up with that number. And so that's my one thought that I share with the colleagues, and I share it with you, Edwin. If you want, it doesn't make sense to get paid for empathy circles as such. That's the entry level. But there may be an advanced version of it. Maybe it's called therapy. I don't know. Maybe it's called conflict resolution. Maybe it's called computer design. That's the thought. If you want the money, ask for it.
Yeah, you're looking at the financial model of how to, finance an empathy movement. And you see the empathy circle as a first free step, but then you have your offerings and you give people a taste of it and you say, what's this worth to you? And you can sort of get a sense of, what people are willing to pay for it. But the financing of it is just a concern of you for sustainability. You really want
It
to
is. Thank you.
yeah.
I feel hurt. Thank you for
Okay.
that.
Jana, can I speak to you?
Sure.
Um, yeah, how to finance an empathy movement, I think is a big, a big question. I'm not very good at that. How do we do that? It's a lot like it could be a lot like politics, that people put money into, paying for political movements because, they see that this needs to be done. So, will people put in money for an empathy if they can see a clear movement to finance? Maybe that can help.
So you think that sustainability, how to finance an empathy movement, is important, and you're thinking of it as like a political movement. People donate to political movements because they feel they're important. So will people see the value of empathy, of the empathy movement, and just contribute to it so that it happens?
Yeah, and then the people in the political movement, they get power and they use the power to rake in the money, right? It's like, yeah, yeah. So I guess there's that way that they, but yeah.
So in politics, money corrupts.
But that's
Absolutely.
how people see they're putting money in to affect their, kind of their financial well-being if they get into power.
So when they get into power, they use the money for their own well-being. They, it's,
So the other thing is maybe with doing an Occupy Empathy, and that's just a placeholder, the Occupy Empathy. I think it has some problems with the terms, but the idea of having an encampment, setting up, having Vagel, workshops, having everybody gets a Menful app or whatever, and there's all kinds of workshops. Maybe something like that that's out in the public would get people to say, "Hey, I want to support this." Like Black Lives Matter, the organization got tons of money, when they were out there in public.
so you're thinking again, you're saying occupy empathy as a placeholder, but you're thinking in those terms of, having like a big, you know, event or location where people are offering all these different things like vagal toning or everybody gets a Menful app or, you know, something, some other part.
Yeah, all kinds of different empathy or democracy building training could be happening. Like the citizens' assemblies, people's assemblies, conflict mediation. Uh, and we have experience at Occupy. That's where I got started with the empathy tent was at Occupy. And it was also kind of got the idea for the empathy circle because Occupy was so dysfunctional. People just couldn't relate to each other. I started thinking, well, what if we had something, like we need something like empathy circles for all the participants to be in constant dialogue, that could have, I think, transformed, the camp there.
So you think that these Occupy Empathy has a huge potential for democracy building, for like people's assembly, like and also conflict resolution, and you felt that, I mean, you created the Empathy Circle as a response to Occupy Berkeley, your experience there where it was dysfunctional. It wasn't, people weren't connecting so effectively, and that's why you came up with Empathy Circles, and you kind of want to recreate that situation, but in an idyllic or more utopian or more successful way.
Yeah, we set up in the Capitol Mall and we say, we're not leaving until Republicans and Democrats have empathy circles with each other. We want a bill that every month they have to have a recorded empathy circle about how to bridge the political divides. And, something like that, and I think that'd be fun.
So you envision a camp in Capitol Mall in DC, and that we're not going until everyone from all sides talks to each other and participates in empathy circles, and that they have an obligate. We have a bill that we promote, you know, legislation that they have to participate. The Congress has to participate in an empathy circle monthly
Yeah.
if they want to stay in their jobs.
Right. I feel very hurt. Thank you. Yeah.
So, Brian, would you like to listen to me?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'll make an effort to speak in pieces. And you can reflect that. You can reflect that. You can just say what I'm saying. Right. So, yeah, so I came up with some. So Edwin just shared this Occupy empathy movement idea with me yesterday, and
Mm.
I love it.
Okay, I heard you say that you've heard the Occupy idea before and you've loved it.
Yeah, and I suggested a name, the Empathy Fair, for an event like that.
Nice. Yes, an empty fair. And how would you spell fair?
Fair. And but as Edwin was speaking earlier, and he mentioned it again, I thought of more possibilities like the Empathy Park or the Empathy Playground, or Empathy Encampment. He mentioned, but different possibilities.
Okay, yes, terminology is important. I hear you say that the various names would be helpful.
Yeah, we agree on one.
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
might be Occupy Empathy. It might be something else.
Hmm.
Occupy is not bipartisan. Let's just say.
Mm. Right. Occupy might have some baggage to it.
Yeah, and yeah, and I'm wondering whether Jill has a way to also do Menful in person.
Interesting. So, yeah, a mindful in-person approach. So it would be valuable, is what I'm hearing you say.
Yeah, and I really love how Lou, when it's his turn to speak, kind of includes so many others, acknowledging through humor and just, in a phrase and a little turn of something, he kind of touches everyone with his little magic wand speech.
Yes, yes. So you really appreciate Lou's erudition.
And, well, just acknowledging everyone.
Hmm.
And what else? Something else. The empathy movement, my heart and mind. Um, Yeah, it's weird often for NVCers to come to empathy circles, and Terry's like an exception.
Oh, interesting. So yeah, you don't see a lot of NVC overlap.
I find that sometimes NVCers, when they come, it's like, where are my feelings and needs, and why is no one guessing? And I don't want to just be parroted. And
Oh,
and then there are exceptions. Like Phoenix is a whole community of empathy circle practitioners that have basically come from NVC.
mm. Interesting. Yes. So, I guess that you're a little frustrated that the two groups are not working better together?
Well, I personally haven't spent enough time immersed in NVC. So I have a little
Mm,
taste of NVC,
mhm,
like, like an NVCer might come one time to an empathy circle. Like I've had little tastes of NVC, but I
mhm,
haven't done the NVC practice or training, extensively. And,
mhm,
as people are speaking today, I'm thinking, maybe I should do that, or maybe I need to do that, or maybe somehow it would enrich me or help to connect the
mm,
communities
mhm.
if I did more of that.
Okay, yeah, so perhaps opening your mind to the details of NVC might be helpful for you.
Yeah, thanks. I feel heard. Thanks. And you can pick a listener.
Um, okay, I will pick Jill. Jill, I am sensitive to what you said, and I feel responsibility for triggering your response. So I feel a need to clarify my words. Um, Firstly, an app such as Menful would be so valuable for a movement. It would be enormously valuable because scalability must be ready to
Let me just stop
embrace.
you. Can I just pause because I want to get the first chunk, which felt weighty to me, and I want to reflect that back to you, if
Okay.
that's okay. I'm hearing that you perceived a connection between your share and my feelings afterwards, and so you're really willing to add more information to kind of round out the picture, clarify, I think is the word that you used. Did I get that?
Yes, that's what I'm feeling. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That, my background is tech, and so the scalability component is enormous. We need it for a movement. We need it. The, but you expressed that you had not been heard, and I feel bad about that. I did hear you loud and clear. I also went to your website before we all gathered. Um, that is needed. Scalability is needed. But I think what we're missing here in Lou's sense of it was the money piece. And yes, the money is the primary motivator in our culture, but it's motivation, I think, that we need. So if somebody is hurt and it needs to be heard, they're motivated to go to your Menful app, to Edwin Circles, to attend at somewhere, etc. But most people, so what I felt today is emerging in the 99.9th percentile of empathy and how to address people's needs. What we need is
Let me stop you because I'm a
yes,
little bit lost. I think what you're saying is that you're pointing to the money piece being missing, and I haven't understood exactly what you or Lou has meant by that. Maybe if you could clarify that a little bit more.
okay, yes, okay. What I feel we've not touched upon is how to motivate thousands, millions to the streets or whatever to create a movement.
So motivation is what you're seeing not being addressed here, and I'm hearing a little bit of charge in your voice around that. I'm guessing you really want that to be part of the conversation.
I really want the movement,
Yeah.
and I'm hearing so you wonderful people about the perfect approach to expressing empathy toward one another.
Mm,
That's
mm,
great. What we
mhm,
need, though, I believe, is to get the thousands in the street. And for
mm,
that to start, we need, the Black Lives Matter is a great example raised. People are pretty aware that many Black people are not treated with the same respect as non-Black people. So that is a problem that is understood. Empathy as a problem that is understood is just not widespread.
yeah.
So that I see as the motivation. The
So I'm hearing the
motivation, yeah.
passion in your voice to get this going. Is that
Yes,
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I believe it needs to start with sparking the motivation that
Mm.
we need to convey to people that empathy is the core of humanity and it is
Mhm.
under threat. Maybe AI, maybe old hard right, I don't know, but or profiteers, however it is, we need to spark that motivation, and that is the
Mhm.
first thing. And
So you're
money,
really wanting to galvanize our efforts towards sparking motivation, and it's time.
no pun intended.
Yeah, right? Double meaning. It's time. Mm. Mm. Mm-hmm. Feeling you here.
Yeah, so I think the motivation needs to be pinned on cause effect.
Mm-hmm.
We need to express the case of cause and effect. This
Mm.
problem caused by lack of empathy or
Mm-hmm.
caring for another human being.
Yeah.
I love the people over
It's time.
profits,
It's
but
time.
it just feels too, I don't know, something about it feels too, I'm from Berkeley, it feels too Berkeley. We need that sort of idea that is more motivating to the mainstream. So,
Yeah. It's
yeah,
time. So just reflect, Jill.
okay.
I would didn't realize I was waiting for the reflection. So you're you're wanting to see like people to put their money where their mouth is to create the motivation to translate all of this softer stuff into something more tangible,
Compelling.
compelling.
So select your listener, Jill.
Um, I'll select you, Edwin, if you're available.
Listening?
Yeah. I am very passionate about doing Mendful. And if there's so much to do, I can't possibly do it all. I value a balanced life, and yet I sometimes work 14-hour days, trying to make this work. And I'm over 60, so it's not like it was when I was 20. And that's hard, and hardly anyone really sees that.
Yeah, the you're really excited about your program Mindful, and you put a lot of time into it, and uh, people don't. It takes a lot of time and energy, and you like to have this balanced life, and people don't see all the effort that you're putting in to it.
Yeah. And I feel this kind of impotent rage and resentment against how the United States of America is structured for entrepreneurs. Because if you want to get something off the ground, people who invest in it want to see that you're working on it 24/7. And yet, who can afford to do that? Most people need to earn a living, you know? So it's really like a kind of a catch-22. And so I can afford to do that right now for a little while longer, but most of the people that I'm partnering with can't afford to do that. So I'm not feeling met in my level of effort that I'm putting in terms of the people I'm partnering with. And it's not their fault. So I'm just frustrated at the system that we're trying to work within.
So you're frustrated about the system you're working in for as an entrepreneur and the
Mhm.
support you're getting, and that you have to put in a lot of time, and maybe you're not being met with that time with the other partners, and there's some frustration about that.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I feel heard so well. I have nothing more
Okay,
to say
all
on that.
right. Then we only have 4 minutes left, so we just open it up for any comments. Or Janet, do you want to lead us in any sort of a debrief or anything in the
Whatever you'd
three
like to
minutes?
share. Terry only spoke once, so Terry, is there more that you'd like to share, not reflected, as we kind of wrap things up? Terry's not there; she's off with her dog somewhere.
But I have I have a thought. I mean, I think this was a great conversation. No, no, that's for sure. The empathy movement has legs. The battle is joined. I mean, I don't want to emphasize my weaknesses, but here is one. I don't really have a high regard for money. And that has been difficult. I'm like the scholar guy, right? I mean, you don't need to know this, right? But you're not going to send me to a venture capitalist. I mean, I've made a lot of ground. I've taken a lot of ground. I've learned a lot of things about the corporate jungle. And I had a couple of great jobs and some good business mentors. That was fortunate. These people were both kind and hardworking. So I learned a few things, I claim, right? I mean, but I share what your feeling is about asking for money. I mean, it's like that itself is a loss of respect there. I mean, nevertheless, if you want the money, here's the principle. You ask for it. And that's practice in front of a mirror. And point number two, which I wish to make, perception of value follows price. So if you want to increase the perception of value, raise the price. See, this is a little tricky. It's not always true, but there's no difference between the chassis of an Oldsmobile and a Cadillac.
Are you talking specifically to me, Lou, or to anybody
No.
here?
To
No,
everyone
no,
here,
I'm
I'd
not
like to
talking
let
I am.
Terry.
I mean, I would include you. I mean, I
Yes.
have talked to
I
venture
want to get
capitalists.
just a
We
quick
have
word
one more
from.
minute, so let
Just want to hear
Terry.
from Terry since. Thanks, Lou.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah, this has been so timely for me. I think I was hearing that motivation is the core need that Brian is seeing, and I just want to let that percolate through my awareness about how to meet that need in terms of being responsive to communal needs as well as personal ones. And additionally, I am attending a price point seminar on January 6th. So hearing Lou's for like what I'm offering, like my teacher charges $40 a session just for vagal toning, and it doesn't include an empathy circle. And frequently her take is $2,000 a class. I'm charging right now a sliding scale 5 to 25. So I'm just learning, like, how do I value this? How do I and so, just hearing all of this is really important for me. And that's all I have to say. I mean, I could say more, but I just love you guys. Thanks for being here.
We
Okay,
love you.
the room is closing in 60 seconds, so you can jump in for the last 60 or jump into the main room.
So, Brian, is there something you'd like to share? Otherwise, I'll share something.
Just want to say thank you to all for your heart and words.
And Jill,
Thank you.
thank you. Yeah. So I've come up with an advanced idea to offer because I realize that some people will never join a free empathy circle, and they're like too exclusive. The professors, the CEOs, the so forth. So I've designed something, but I haven't launched it yet. But I have this in mind called the joy of conflict.
Ooh,
That's funny.
I love it. It makes me curious to hear, like, whoa, tell me more.